Baltimore, Cincinnati, huge shutdown for the North. Big implications for both teams. Baltimore off a tough loss to Cleveland, blown 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. But an even bigger game for Cincinnati coming into this one. If they lose this game, they drop 3.5 games behind the Ravens. They go to 0-3 in the division. And you really start to question, if they were to fall, will Cincinnati miss the postseason?
Yeah, we just talked about Buffalo. Cincy would be 5-5, right?
And then Baltimore, I mean, if they lose this one, Week 12 begins and they're not in first place. So
Isn't it crazy how the Ravens, after having such a great start to the year, they lose this game, they won't be in first place. It'll be the Browns or the Steelers, which is just unbelievable to show the AFC North's, skill this year, even though some of those teams we still have questions about. I look at this game right now, just to give you the way I'm leaning here, because who are you leaning in this game?
I lean Baltimore because they're at home. But I don't have a hard lean on this game at all. I think it's so important for both teams. It feels like a must-win for Cincinnati.
Agree.
Just to put the playoff chances in perspective. So, like, Timo Risk at PFF, he sort of does a thing like it's win probability if you win or lose. To give you an idea, if the Bengals win this game, he's got their playoff chances at about a 60%. If they lose, about 25%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen to this. I didn't realize this. You think about Joe Burrow being one of these guys who wins tough games on the road, and I think he is for the most part. But the Cincinnati Bengals as a whole, since beating Philadelphia in December of 2012, they are 0-14 in primetime road games, the Bengals. Joe Burrow 0-4 in that spot himself. We're talking primetime 6:30 start or later. And before that win in 2012, they had lost 11 straight in primetime. So the Bengals in their last 26 road primetime games are 1-25, which is just shockingly bad. Zach Taylor, though, he's been great at home, 6-0 in primetime games for Zach Taylor. But it's really, I did not see that. And the Ravens on the other side of this have the second best winning percentage in home primetime games over the past 10 years at 12-3. So you are actually kind of seeing these trends here go very favorably for Baltimore in this situation. Now, Joe Burrow himself, again, 7-5 is an underdog in his career, so he's winning a lot of the games he shouldn't be. I don't want to bet against him. Last year it was really close. But Baltimore right now, it feels like being in Baltimore is just a huge advantage for this game, having already beat the Bengals earlier in the year. So everything's ahead of Baltimore. The one concern, though, is that they have these letdown spots like we've talked about. They just had one a week ago. And their loss to Cleveland was the 9th time that they've lost after being up 7 points or more in the fourth quarter since 2021. It's the most in a 3-year stretch, those 9 losses in the history of football. That's concerning.
Yeah, it is. Lamar Jackson, though, has won 7 of his last 8 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Mm-hmm. And a stat that I found interesting is that the Bengals defensively are the worst team in football in allowing explosive plays, which is 10-plus yards a rush and 20-plus yards a throw. They've allowed 71 of those. Baltimore leads the NFL in explosive plays.
Wait, Baltimore's leading the league?
Leading the league in explosive plays. The Bengals, the worst defensive team against explosive plays. Well, Baltimore 74, Cincy has 71 allowed. So by that metric, it seems to...
Ziggy, how are you liking these numbers here? You don't usually get these.
Yeah, you certainly can't like those numbers when Trey Hendrickson, it looks like he'll play, but he's got a knee injury and he's hurt, and Sam Hubbard is out. So both defensive ends are in danger of either not playing or really hurt. You want to be able to put some pressure on Lamar Jackson.
Is T. Higgins playing?
Unlikely. I think they ruled him out.
So Higgins is out, Chase is banged up.
Lamar's 7-1 against the Bengals.
Yeah.
He owns that franchise.
Jamar Chase in this rivalry historically has been very good against Baltimore. But Joe Mixon has not. I think that is a huge key. I think since he has to establish the run, they rank dead last.
Hard to do against Baltimore.
They rank, that's Baltimore's, if there is an Achilles heel, it's the run game. It's not the secondary.
No, not the secondary.
But the Bengals rank dead last in the NFL in rush yards per game and 28th in yards per attempt. I think to have a chance, they have to get Joe Mixon going on the ground.
It is funny with everything we just said. I still go back to right before the 49er game. I said this is a spot where Joe Burrow, goes and gets a big win. Like the Bengals seem to find their way in and then make their noise. So this is the spot to do it because if you lose, it's not looking good.
I'd agree more before we wrap this up if Baltimore wasn't off that disgusting blown lead loss.
Did you see their Instagram post too? I sent it to the guys. What was it? Darkness. Was it the Edgar Allan Poe? Darkness there and nothing more, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. One of the best Instagram posts I've seen in a long time. Blackout.
But don't you think the Bengals are absolutely fuming about losing at home to the Texans?
100%.
It's going to be an unbelievable game.
For me, it's
both these teams are PO'd. It's going to be fun.
It's a tough spot to back.